Hey guys, more of a fitness component that's involved in my test. My test specifically is the hexagon agility test, and the purpose of this test is to test the ability for one to move quickly and be able to maintain their balance. So I've decided to look specifically at agility and the aspect of this in the test, and I found an article which looks at finding out whether plyometric training can increase one's agility. So I found my article on the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine website, with the title of the article being "The Effects of a 6-Week Plyometric Training Program on Agility." The purpose of this study was basically to determine whether completing 2 times a week for 6 weeks of plyometric training, if it would increase an athlete's agility. And this study, when it was being conducted at the time, there hadn't actually been any concrete evidence on this. So basically the study involved about having 28 volunteer subjects, which were randomly assigned into 2 different groups. These groups were, one, the controlled group, and the second one being the trained group, the one that's actually participating in the plyometric training. The subjects had to ensure that they weren't that they didn't have any lower body extremity injuries, and that they were not involved in any current plyometric training. So to continue on this, they decided to measure the performance of the subject through the use of 3 agility tests. The first test is known as the T-test, and this test was used to determine the speed and directional change, such as forward sprinting, left and right shuffling, and of course the conclusion of that test being backwards pedaling. From then we went on to the Illinois agility test. This test focuses on determining the ability of one's self to accelerate and decelerate, and turning in different directions and run in different angles. And the last test is known as the force plate test, which measures the subject's quickness and power. Basically, they did these tests pre and post from the 6 weeks to ensure that they could accurately measure the progress that the 28 participants made. So the 6-week program had 2 sessions a week to ensure ample rest time, to ensure that we weren't straining the body, because plyometric training puts a lot of pressure on our lower extremities, especially our ankles and knees. So the training program, the participants would perform a variety of lower extremity plyometric trainings, whereas the controlled group would not participate in any of these plyometric training. They would just conduct other strength training work at the time. The plyometric exercises that were being used varied from side-to-side ankle hops, front cone hops, standing long jump, and then you got your lateral cone hops, double leg hops, just a lot of quick movements, short contractions, and quick explosions. In doing so, each week the workload would increase. For instance, week 1 had 90 foot contacts, and week 5 had 140 foot contacts. Talking about foot contacts, it basically means, so these cone hops, we've got 3 sets of 15. That's going to be 45 foot contacts. Okay, so each week specified that day had a certain amount of foot contacts, and then they decided what exercises they would do. Week 6 was a bit different. So the workload decreased to ensure that fatigue wouldn't affect the post-testing, so everyone's body was right and no one had any nagging pains. So the results. So this was quite interesting, actually. So for the T-test, there was a decrease, should I say, for the trained group of 0.62 plus or minus 0.24 seconds, whereas the controlled group actually showed little to no change, and they had a decrease in 0.01 plus or minus 0.14 seconds. For the Illinois agility test, we saw that there was a decrease in time also with the trained group, which was a 0.5, so half a second plus or minus 0.32 seconds, whereas once again the control group, those not doing the plyometric training, saw little to no decrease, which was 0.01 plus or minus 0.05 seconds. As you can see, not a lot at all. Lastly, for the third test, the force plate agility test, we saw a decrease by 26.37 plus or minus 21.89 milliseconds. And then for the control group was even smaller, which was 0.98 plus or minus 6.33 milliseconds. So therefore, we can conclude that doing plyometric training can increase one's agility. And then relating it to the hexagon test that my class or my group will be performing in class, it shows us that such training with such training, 6-week span, we can see that in 12 or 18-week program, we can see even more increases in such a training program. Alright, that's all guys. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks.